Hello and welcome to the second Unicorner. And if the first wasn't good enough, this one is probably going to be even better because I have two very interesting guests with me today, Kristian and Nicolai. And both of you have extraordinary long surnames.
Yes.
But in addition to that, maybe you can introduce yourself.
Yes. Well, hi everyone. My name is Nicolai. I'm a developer, primarily working on the cloud side, so Umbraco Cloud. I've been at Umbraco for almost 8 months now, but it's completely new in the Umbraco world as it is. So I primarily did Sitecore before, so I'm a convert.
Okay. I don't have the button to beep out certain words, but maybe we can do it in the post.
Oh yes.
And Kristian.
Yes, thank you for having me. I like the addition to the studio. The plant really brings a whole new, what's it called, flora to the room.
Yes, I think I should maybe I should ask the next guest to bring some water.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So I work on the Umbraco D team, primarily on cloud as well as Nicolai. I started with Nicolai the 1st of January this year, so around 8 months. Yeah.
Yes, it was just because you couldn't see the plant because I changed the angle.
Ah.
So today we're actually going to talk about something that I'm pretty excited about because you were actually a part of a product or a feature we launched recently, which is called Latch, and you've been working on that, both of you. So really excited about that. But before we do that, we have to hear about You're Friendly and Hungry, Nicolai.
Cool. The friendly for me is fairly easy. As mentioned, I haven't really done any work with Umbraco before, but I'm dabbling a bit in doing some sites while I'm working at Umbraco. So I'm using the hour documentation very much, and it's come a long way just in the time I've been here. So I can highly recommend that. And of course, as you will discover in the next couple of minutes, we're going to talk about Latch. So another friendly advice is to use Latch if you're on Umbraco Cloud.
Oh, that's 2 in 1.
Oh yes, combined. And my hungry, well, if I were in your spot, Niels, I would maybe work on our error messages. Because as a new guy in this world, in the Umbraco world, it's a bit intimidating sometimes, so that's probably where I would sit in. So it's a boring answer, but I think
no, it's a fantastic answer. So and again, it's why it's so inspiring to have new people coming through the Umbraco HQ, because if you have veterans coming, or when we hire from the community, you don't see those problems with error messages anymore. When you are fresh, you see those things, and it's so important that you say it out loud.
Yeah. So, but that's definitely where I would step in.
Oh, super cool. Then I have some work to do. That's wonderful. So what we're going to talk about today is Latch. Could you guys describe what Latch is in a couple of sentences?
I would do it. Well, Latch is a service that we offer on Umbraco Cloud to provide Let's Encrypt certificates, so we can encrypt your communication, allow you to use HTTPS on your websites for everything that's Umbraco Cloud. I think that's actually very awesome. So that's the very short explanation. Everything should go automatically as long as you have a fairly standard setup of Umbraco Cloud, and you just get a new certificate every 2 months roughly. So we make sure that you're always protected.
And you don't have to do anything. That's the whole idea.
The whole idea is, yes, if you create a new project, you just get a certificate as soon as you add a new hostname. There is, of course, if you have a manual certificate, you will have to remove the manual certificate, or at least the binding, before Latch can kick in. But as soon as you remove it, Latch will kick in, and you will have a new Latch certificate in an instant.
But this also means that if I want to, for some reason, I can still bring my own certificates to Umbraco Cloud, right?
Yes, that's exactly what it means. But it's important to notice that once you've given the cloud your own certificate and your site is using that, we still keep a certificate for you behind the scenes for that hostname still. So if you for some reason at some point want to remove your own certificate again, Latch is already set up with a certificate for your hostname and will automatically map it for you in an instant as soon as you remove your own bindings.
Oh, that's super cool. So tell me about the process. I guess Latch was one of the first features you guys worked on. Yeah. You both said you've been here roughly a little more than 8 months.
It was the first project we were working on from the very beginning of it. The project spawned from something we have on D team called Freedom Friday, where we work on individual projects and ideas we get during our regular work, and then we have some time to try and explore these ideas ourselves. And one of our colleagues, Kenneth, developed this as proof of concept, and then it evolved into a full-blown project for the cloud.
I really like that because we're using Let's Encrypt behind the scenes, right, for making the certificate, and I know Sebastian, he's been talking about this for quite some time. Yeah. So it was really funny to see, going from a proof of concept to actually turning it to a super stable feature on cloud. It was it all smooth sailing or?
No. But that's I think it's classic for a software. As Kristian mentioned, it started out as a proof of concept, and we might have been a bit too quick to actually take that proof of concept and move it into as a product. So we, of course, as we went along, discovered a lot of stuff that we should have thought of beforehand. So that gave us some rough patches, especially because we really wanted, so the whole team really worked hard to get this ready for Code Garden, because it was an awesome feature to announce. But that also meant that there was a bit of frustrations at some points before Code Garden. But we got there, and I think we ended up with 99.9% ready product at Code Garden, and we wrapped up the trails right after Code Garden. Which, by the way, is further than we've ever been on something we launched at Code Garden. So of course there's been some ups and downs, but all in all I think it went very well. Yeah, and some things to consider while some things we learned with this, because when we come to host names and cloud users DNS setup, it's kind of out of our hands. It's something they do themselves. So the whole we could make Latch work for a simple setup, but we couldn't take into account everything that the users have set up themselves. So that was kind of interesting. That when we launched Latch, we got some funny errors back because people have set up their DNS differently and with for example Cloudflare in front of their site. So that gave us some extra work, but also some obstacles. But it's exciting. It's rough when they come in, but when you look back on it, it's exciting because you learn a lot, and that's something we can bring along to the next project we're going to work on.
Oh, cool. So when you actually get a certificate, it's something called a TLS certificate or something like that, right? Yeah. Because I remember in the beginning, people talked about SSL all the time. Yeah. And I think for a while internally, some of us old school people talked about SSL certificates, and we got really angry stares back. So the type of certificate you get with Latch, is that secure enough? Is it? Well, it's the latest and greatest that you can get right now from Let's Encrypt. So it's I guess the standard right now, TLS 1.2 I think it is. So yeah, it doesn't really get more secure right now than that.
And that's also why we try to educate ourselves internally to at least call it what it really is, so a TLS certificate instead of an SSL certificate. But in the end, it's just semantics, and us being flueknipper, as it would be said in golden Danish.
You get the green lock in the address bar, right?
You get the padlock, and you're a happy user, I guess.
And then, of course, the important question that I've been dying to ask you, on a scale from 1 to 10, where 10 is the best, how much do you like the song Latch with Sam Smith?
I don't know the song with Sam Smith, so you have to step in here.
I don't like it one bit.
So it's a good thing it's not named after that track.
Oh yes, I think that's a very good thing.
Okay, then we have another regular thing here at the Unicorner, and that's something we call Stories from the Basement. I'm just gonna roll it. And of course, I'm excited if you actually remembered going down in our slightly messy basement and finding an artifact.
Yes, we did. We have spent several hours today to scurry through the mess.
Is that just finding your way out of the basement?
Yes,
that was half the time at least. No, but we found this, which is a I don't know how to say it in English. It's pifted.
It's deflated.
Deflated.
And very sad.
It's a deflated and sad unicorn.
Yes.
And there is some kind of symbolism in this because Umbraco is moving in the last couple of years, has moved from being what it was a couple of years ago to something that some people might consider a little more corporate, a little more suit and tie, and to be frank, some people consider it to be a little bit sad because it was they considered the community a couple of years ago and the product a couple of years ago something a little more free-spirited, and this unicorn, Niels, your title is the chief unicorn, so unicorns run in the Umbraco DNA, and therefore it's sad to find a deflated unicorn because it kind of symbolizes a little what some people have been thinking, that the Umbraco spirit is slowly losing air, but we just brought it up to show you that that's not true, and you can see also there's many other unicorns as well, so just because the Umbraco is changing, it doesn't mean that the unicorn spirit is deflated everywhere.
That's correct. By the way, that one gets filled with new air every time we need to hire interns. It is actually our recruitment unicorn, that one.
Okay.
So we take them to intern fairs and things like that.
I didn't know we have a recruitment unicorn.
I didn't know that either. Awesome.
Ah, wonderful.
Nice. So you actually found that one in the basement.
In the furthest corner away from the entrance.
Yeah. That's where we keep the sad unicorn.
We hide them.
So before we end, Kristian, you also have a friendly and hungry.
Yes, and that's at least the hungry is in the I think both of them actually is the same spirit. That's why we brought this on. But I'll start with the friendly. I'll make a little story if that's okay. Sometimes. During your everyday life, you live at home and you go to work and you come home and then all of a sudden there's a vacation and you go on vacation and you have a great time or whatever, and then you come back home and it's actually nice to be home and you like your life and you like the place you live, you like your work, you like your colleagues, and in that spirit and in the spirit of Umbraco openness, I would give a tip as to try the Umbraco competitors. Go out and try, and then when you come back to Umbraco, you will see why you choose it in the first place, why you're working with it, and you'll be extra happy that you work with Umbraco. That's my friendly advice.
What a great advice! It's a bit like that's your current phase in watching football right now, right?
You could say that.
And the hungry one.
And the hungry one, It's not as much as what I would change if I were you, but I would say keep it up by inflating this unicorn, both physically and metaphorically and spiritually, and keeping up the work you do with keeping in the Umbraco spirit despite the growth of the company.
I'll definitely do my best. So thank you so much for coming on, and congrats on Latch. It's one of my favorite things we've done the last couple of years.
I think we're both very excited to have been part of it.
Yeah,
So
it's very exciting.
awesome.
And what's next? Do you know that?
Oh. No, actually not. I'm not entirely sure.
I just today started looking at Deploy. Deploy has been moved from the core team to the cloud team.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
And we are going to make some changes to it. I can't say what it is because we don't know, but we're starting to look into it as of today. So that's probably
we're gonna work on it.
Yeah.
Hope
So-
to make it even better.
So maybe I'll see you in 6 months again,
Yes.
and then you can talk about Deploy
Yeah.
2.0.
Yeah.
So
Fantastic.
I have one thing just as a wrap up to the Latch stuff.
Yes.
If it's possible. Just some hard numbers because
Whoa.
I just checked up just before going down here. As of right now, we have roughly 3,000 generated certificates from Latch. 2,200 of those are actively being used, and 800 of them are on standby. So if a customer removes their manual certificate, we jump in. So I think that's kind of cool because when we go back to Code Garden in May, we had 0.
That's crazy.
So just some hard numbers to support how awesome Latch is.
That's amazing, and we should actually try to calculate how much time people spend on setting up a certificate.
Yes.
Then we can figure out how many man hours / woman hours we've saved.
Yeah.
So congrats.
It's very cool.
Yeah, it's super cool. So that was it for the second episode of the Unicorner. If I've learned this because we are on YouTube, so if you like what you've seen, make sure to subscribe. Well, how do you do this? It's down here somewhere. And give us a like. Actually, my son gave a Umbraco HQ video its first like ever. He was very proud. He told me a couple of months back. Him and his friend. No, that was actually not ours. That was Umbraco Coffee. So of course we would want. I would love to make him proud and see that we also get likes. So very important. Do that. And else, throw a comment if you have any ideas, and reach out on Twitter if you have any ideas for subjects or things we should do better. Until next time, adios.